Hey, what is up, guys? Been a while, actually. Today we are finally doing a deck profile. It's been so long, and yes, we are going with this new playmat here, so it's pretty cool. Just to get a really fresh start on this whole channel and everything like this, because I've been pretty busy. So yeah, let's just get with this deck profile. This is basically my Revenger Raging Form Dragon deck, and with the reprint and everything, I just decided to build it. Of course, this isn't the reprint, this is the original one, but yeah, let's just get into it. I've been really excited about this deck. Uh, been finding and gathering the cards since the start of the year. Alright, so to begin with the deck profile, let's go with the starting Vanguard, which is Lingering Night Revenger Conrad. So his skill is basically not GB restricted, which is really awesome. And a lot of decks have been getting the same starting Vanguard with this particular skill. And basically it's to put him into the soul, choose a normal unit from your hand and discard it, look at the top card of your deck, and put it either on the top or bottom, and then draw a card. So you can basically get whatever card you want after you check it. If you get a trigger, then just put it on the bottom of the deck and hope that you don't get another trigger. And then if you have a face-up card in your G-Zone, you can choose one of your units and give it plus 5,000, which is kind of like a nice addition to its skill. But overall, it's a really nice card to start off with. Moving on, we're obviously going with the grade 3s. Alright, so the whole point is to go with Revenger Raging Form Dragon. So this is the original ones I got from BT12, which is really nice. Alright, so simple skill is Limit Break 4. We are in the GB era, Stride era basically, and maybe people don't know what this does. Limit Break is basically activated when you have 4 or more damage, so really simple there. And this is in an era before strides happened, so at the end of the battle that he attacks, you can sacrifice or retire 3 of your rear guards, and then he can re-ride from the hand again and pretty much get 10,000 power, and he's now ready to attack again. So it allows the additional drive checks, which is really nice. The only downside is he doesn't keep the triggers from before, so after the first attack, you give him all the critical triggers and everything, and then you re-ride again. He loses all those trigger effects and everything that you just gave to him. So that's one downside, but overall, you're getting a bunch of drive checks, which is the whole point of this deck, which is really awesome. Alright, so why has Revengers become so significant now? It's been hyped up. Well, that's because of the new support from set 9, and that card is Revenger Slayhex Dragon. So his effect is when he rides a Revenger unit, which is pretty much your entire deck, every single card you should have is Revenger. You can pay the cost, so Counterblast 1 and choose a card from your hand and discard it. And then search your deck for a Raging Form Dragon and ride it on top of him. Then you can take him out of the soul and then add it back to your hand. So you can pretty much prepare for stride right there. Really awesome card. So it doesn't matter whether you're riding him or your Raging Form, because you'll get an easy stride right there. It's just really awesome. It doesn't matter what grade 3 you get. So really cool card there. And he's also quite important for a combo that I might show you in a different video, or maybe even at the end of this video if we have time. Alright, so moving on to grade 2s. What better card to start off with than Blast the Dark Revenger? Yep, this card is really awesome. Unfortunately, we are only playing 2 of them because there are so many other cards that we could play as well. So I'm just trying to make room. Its effect is still decent, but it is a Counterblast 2, which is pretty heavy. And his effect is when placed on Rearguard or Vanguard, you can Counterblast 2 and just retire one of your opponent's Rearguards in the front row. So still a decent ability, just a really heavy cost of Counterblast 2, but he still retains the name of Revenger, so it's really awesome and it just works so well in this deck. Alright, so moving on, we're playing one of the most important cards, and that is Wily Revenger Mana. So this card is when placed on Vanguard or Rearguard. If you have a Shadow Paladin Vanguard, which your whole deck is meant to be Shadow Paladins, you can search your deck for a grade 1 or less card with Revenger. Keep in mind the less as well, so you can bring out grade 0s. It's not restricted to just grade 1. And then you can call it in a rearguard circle in the same column as this unit and shuffle your deck. At the end of the turn, you have to shuffle that or really, you just have to put that unit back on the bottom of your deck, which is not bad because her skill is pretty much just to bring it out with no cost whatsoever. And that pretty much sets you up for your Raging Form combo. Then, of course, we are playing one of the Dark Cloak Revenger Tatu. So, Tatu is similar to Wily Revenger Mana, but the only difference is that she is a 9k instead of the 8k. And she also has a Counterblast 2 effect where she basically does the same thing where she can call grade 1 Revenger from your deck into the same column. So what's the difference? The difference is that with Wily Revenger Mana, the grade 0 or the grade 1 you call out has to be put at the bottom of the deck at the end of the turn. In this one, it stays on the field permanently. But the main point is obviously to retire them from the effect of, or the skill of Raging Form Dragon. So with this, I'm only playing one of them. You could take out Tatu and put in an extra mana, which actually wouldn't be a bad idea. But overall, I don't mind. I put this in just in case. Sometimes I just want to keep it on the field. Alright, so that's just going over a lot of the older cards. So now let's actually go over a lot of the newer cards, which is, let's begin with Revenger Darkbless Angel. When she's retired from Raging Form Dragon skill, you can Counterblast 1, and then search your deck for a grade 1 card with Revenger in its card name and call it to the rear circle. Then you can shuffle your deck, and at the end of the turn, retire the unit called with this effect. This card is amazing, and this is the whole point of the combo. She's a key card, and that's why we're playing 3 of her. You could drop out the Tatu from earlier and add in a 4th one of her, but overall it works with 3 right now, and I'll show you the combo including her at the end of the video, or possibly another video, so stay tuned for that. But for now, she's an amazing card. Moving on, we have our final one, which is basically Revenger Detonate Heat Dragon. So, when this unit attacks, if you have a card with a Vanguard with Raging in its card name, basically Raging Form Dragon, he gets plus 2000, so he becomes an 11k attacker, which is really awesome. And then it gets the additional skill of, at the end of your turn, you can retire this unit, Counterblast 1, and then you can search your deck for one Abyss Dragon with a Limit Break ability from your deck, and then just add it to your hand. So that's a really cool card. So after he attacks, at the end of the turn, you can sacrifice him, and just get yourself a second Raging Form Dragon, which is the whole point of the combo where you need multiple Raging Form Dragons ready to finish off your opponent as soon as possible. Alright, so moving on to grade 1s, we are playing Dark Revenger Maclear, basically a perfect guard, and the only reason we're playing it is because it has Revenge in its name, and it becomes a really important thing. So I recommend that you play the Revenger PGs and not any of the other ones that are out there, because this one's just too good not to pass up on. Most people might play the Karma Collector, which is the unflip perfect guards, but I don't think it's really worth it. You won't be needing it that much anyway. Alright, so moving on, we are playing Tempting Revenger Fingus. This is our Limit Break Enabler, so most of the time, if our opponent has figured out what this whole deck does, they purposely try not to attack you so that you don't have 4 damage, and for that, we'll just play Fine Gas and pretty much surprise our opponents here. So it enables Limit Break, which is just really nice. Then we are playing 2 of the Detecting Revenger Ife. You can rest this unit and reveal 5 cards from the top of your deck, and if you find a Raging Form Dragon from among them, you can add it to your hand. If you didn't put it into your hand, or you couldn't find one among those 5 cards you revealed, you can just choose one of your units and it gets plus 2000. And unfortunately, she will be rested, but the good news is eventually she's just fodder for you to just retire for Raging Form's effect. So we're playing 2 of her. She's not as great, but she doesn't have too heavy of a cost, so it's really nice. Then we are playing 2 of the Revenge of Vigor Moore, which is you can pretty much pay the cost after it's been placed on a rearguard circle, so Counterblast the Revenger card, and then you can add any grade 3 Vanguard Revenger from your deck to your hand that has the same name with the current one you have on the field. So it's just really awesome, and with a simple counterblast, it really speeds up this whole deck. And again, every single card right now hasn't even been GB restricted, which is a really awesome thing. Alright, so the last of our grade 1s, we are playing Transient Revenger Masquerade. When it attacks, if your Vanguard has a Revenger in its card name, he gets plus 3000, so he just becomes a 10k attacker. Which overall, I just think it's really nice because this just means that we have a lot more powerful units to go more aggressively from the attack. And yes, it only has 10,000, but it's easy to attack into your opponent's grade 2s right off the bat with him, which is just really nice. And overall, you can just ride him normally. He is a 7k grade 1, which is still decent. Alright, so moving on to triggers, we are playing 4 heals. And it has to be the Revenger ones because obviously you don't know what happens. You can always call it, I am missing one, so just playing this for now. But 4 of the Revenger heals, which is really important. And of course you play 4 of the Revenger crits as well. Again, who wouldn't want crit triggers? This is Shadow Paladins, it just needs it. One other interesting thing I'm doing is I am playing 4 of the draw triggers, Freezing Revenger. Again, with more Revengers in the deck, it's better. And draw triggers is actually quite nice. It helps you get your Raging Form Dragons way quicker than you would expect. And the awesome thing is that even if he's still in the deck, it's easy to just call him out and then just sack him later on, which is the whole point of this deck. I can't emphasize that enough. We're also playing 1 Revenger Waking Angel, which is the stand trigger. So yes, we are kind of playing like a rainbow trigger lineup. So we're playing the heals, crits, draws, and now we're playing stands, which is, I mean, like, it's quite arguable that it is a bad move of mine to be playing something like that, but I'll get to it why we're playing it like that. We are playing this card, which is the only card that is not a Revenger in our deck, and that is Cursed-Eyed Raven. It is GB1, so kind of unfortunate there, but basically it just helps you call out more units onto the field. So that's why it's such a good card. So that's pretty much my lineup. It's 4 heals, 4 stands, 4 draws, 4 crits, and it's just making it easier to call out whatever I want. Alright, so let's move on to G-Zone. So for the G-Zone, we can honestly play anything we want. This is Shadow Paladins, so there's a lot of good strides for Shadow Paladins. So the first one is Dark Dragon Spectral Blasted Diablo. So this card is basically the one that allows you to restand and attack again. It's just such a good card. And with a simple cost of Soul Blast 1 and Counterblast 2, you can do really awesome things with it. I'm playing 2 of it. And he doesn't have to flip himself over, which is just really nice. Alright, so moving on, we are playing, obviously, Dark Dragon Phantom Blaster Diablo. So this card is obviously the game-winning card sometimes. Of course, Raging Form Revenger. Raging Form Dragon is a much faster card than this, so obviously you're going to finish your opponent off with Raging Form, but say in the worst case scenario, all of your Raging Form is just hit the damage zone and you can't get it back. Well, we have Phantom Blaster Diablo, and it's still a very powerful card to prevent them from guarding from the hand. Then we are playing the Dark Knight Grim Recruiter, just a basic card to start off with. We're also playing 2 of the Supremacy Black Dragon or a Geyser Dragon. Just a great way to activate GB3 really quickly to go on to Spectral Blaster the next turn. So it's really nice for preparations. We're playing 2 Dark Dragon Carnivore Dragon. Again, a great card to just sack one of your units, to sack 2 of your opponent's units. And if they can't, then your front row gets plus 4,000. Still really good. Sea Breeze, because we want to punish our opponents for not going into grade 3s. Alright, so to finish things off with some G-Guards, we have Dark Knight Ludwig. Still a decent card because you can call any grade 1 or less from your rear circles and then just move it to the guard. So if you have a trigger, that means you can move a trigger as well. So a trigger has 10,000. So he can actually be a 25k guard if you have another trigger in the back row. And of course, we're also playing Plotmaker Dragon. I might drop Ludwig to 1 and increase Plotmaker to 3 because he activates way quicker than this. And this one is basically just Ritual 3. If you have 3 grade 1s, he gets plus 10,000 shield. That's just so amazing. And to finish things off with the G-Guards, we have Metal Element Screw or Scryu. Discard a card and he gets 10,000 shield. So against, if you can't meet the requirements for Plotmaker, you can always just discard a grade 1 so that you can meet the requirements for a ritual next turn. And Scryu has 25,000 shield, which is just decent. Overall, Shadow Paladins have a lack of good G-Guards really, because there's not really much shield to protect them, but the whole point of Shadow Paladins is to finish your opponents as quick as possible. One thing you guys might not have noticed is I didn't play True Revenger Raging Rat Dragon, which is, you know, it's really interesting for you guys, isn't it? I didn't even mention this card in my G-Zone. And that's because his cost is just too expensive. It's really difficult to pull off, but we'll show what he's capable of in a combo video, possibly in a separate video, because this video is a little long. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this deck profile. I know it's a little longer than normal deck profiles that I usually make, especially compared to the Yu-Gi-Oh ones. But for Vanguard, I really want to just emphasize and put more time into the skills and the explanations of it, just because it just works better for Vanguard that way. But if you guys don't really care about that, then you could always tell me in the comment section down below. And if you guys want more descriptions and more explanations on the cards and everything, even for Yu-Gi-Oh as well, then tell me down below, because I just want to know, and because that's pretty much the only way I'll know. So yeah, this is a really fun deck to play, and yeah, I think I'll be making a separate video for the combo video of this. So if you guys are interested to see that, then yeah, go check out my channel. So that's pretty much it for today. Hope you guys have a great day. I'll see you next time.